Hey everybody, this is your boy Jeremy from Team Stats and Stacks. Thank you for watching. Just wanted to started off with a quick Thursday night recap. Um, we had about a half and half night, as you can see. Did have a winner that I posted, and there are more winners that we have in the Discord. But for time's sake, I just posted that one that was an easy 2x with Lockett and that pumpkin. Even though Mason really should have been rebooted, but anyways, please like, subscribe the video, and I'll go ahead and get on into the picks for time's sake. Thanks again.
So we're going to get right on into the picks really quick. I didn't have a whole lot of time to dig into some of these stats, so bear with me here with the college football as we're still getting more data where the teams, they're actually playing against solid teams now that are in their conference and not a bunch of cupcakes. So we're just getting better idea of seeing what these players and teams are made of. My first pick out of these five, it's going to be there's no. I'm not going to do any Friday games just because didn't have the time. But I really like Ryan Williams for Bama. I think Bama is going to come out hot. I really do like his fantasy score. Personally, maybe over the yards. But if you think he's been finding the end zone. I mean, you could also do that. A gobby to keep it safe, or even do a goblin that is over 49 and a half receiving yards. I'll probably have a little bit of exposure of each type for him. And then while we're still on that, with Milrow, obviously he's going to be one of my picks. For you guys out there that like to be a little more, one of my picks in the Discord was actually him to have, the two or more rushing touchdowns against South Carolina. I just think they've got something to prove now that they got embarrassed. But I mean, I wouldn't begrudge you if you took his rushing yards, even like maybe that combo there with the passing and rushing. The only thing with him is if you go back and you look at some of his games, the only game that he's really hit the over on and gotten a bunch of pass yards, besides the game where they were playing comeback, was against the Bulldogs. So, I mean, if this is a close game, I think he's fine. But either way, I think he's going to get those two rushing touchdowns. Or I mean, even if you just did the Green Goblin and got him just regular rush yards, Green Goblin for the touchdown or Green Goblin for the rush yards, even the pass yards too, if you really want to play safe. But I think the rush yards and that rushing touchdown is going to be where it's at for him. And then moving on, this is probably my favorite play. Just one, because it just has been hitting a lot, and as long as the game script keeps the line just bumped too, I was able to get it at 18.5. But I really like the Tennessee quarterback Nico. I am a Leva. Probably didn't pronounce that right, but it's under 18. I got it 18.5 pass completions. He hasn't really had, you could do attempts too, but I just went with completions. He hasn't really had to throw the ball a whole lot, or he doesn't. That's just kind of not part of their scheme. Obviously, he's similar to Milrow. I guess a poor man's Milrow, maybe, if you want to say that. But he's against that Florida D. I think Florida's they've got something to prove with Tennessee coming in. So I really do like that play. And then I've got a couple more picks here. And then we'll be posting more in the Discord. I'd like he hit for the last week in the Discord when we made the call, is Rocco Beck, the quarterback for Iowa State, going up against West Virginia. West Virginia, I like him over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I mean, I know it's a Green Goblin, but if you look, West Virginia, they're allowing 100% scoring in the red zone, so they're really not stopping anybody. And if you go and looking at outlier information, Iowa State, they like to pass the ball in the red zone. I mean, and even fantasy score is a free play there too. And I also mentioned, if I didn't earlier, I do like Ryan Williams' fantasy score as well. Um, and then really I'll go stop here and can just for time's sake, and obviously we'll get more in depth in the Discord, which you can find linked below. This, we have lots of free picks in there. It's going to be Will Howard, and of course it was doing so well. Now it's decided it wants to freeze up a bit for me, but he'll come up here in a moment. But that game between Ole Miss, or excuse me, this is Ohio State. The quarterback, Will Howard, I like him for over 1.5 passing touchdowns, or over his 22 fantasy points on Prizepicks against this Oregon team. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's a big showdown. Number 2 versus number 3. He's hit. Oregon does have a pretty as far as Oregon's defense goes in passing, if I'm looking correctly, I think they have a pretty stout defense when it comes to they're only allowing 160 passing yards a game. So I think you're going to have better luck. Oregon, if we're looking for them in the rushing category, they allow more rushing. So you may want to look at the running backs. I think they're middle of the pack, actually. Oregon is right there in the middle as far as the rushing yards allowed per game. Let's see here. We're right at the good grief, where were you? I just had it. They're allowing about 114, 115 rush yards per game. So I like the passing. Of course, now it's passing touchdowns. They expect this to be a barn burner, it looks like. So maybe go with that fantasy score there. I like that. I think Will Howard's going to step up to the plate. So there's a few other ones I like in that Ole Miss game and some others. So just check out the Discord for that. But in the meantime, I really appreciate you guys, and make sure to check out the Discord. There will definitely be more picks, but this is kind of just a quick summary, a quick 4 or 5 that I like that caught my eye really quick. So